Hey everyone, welcome back to another spine-chilling episode of Horror Talks with Tate. My name is Tate and I'm your host for this podcast, and I'm so happy to be back in your head to talk about another horror movie. In this podcast, we plunge into the depth of intricate plots, delve into rich character development, thematic elements, explore director's cuts, and so much more within the horror genre. So for this episode, we will be discovering the 7th installment of the sci-fi horror franchise Alien. The movie is called Alien Romulus, and it follows two pair of siblings and couples, all downtrodden young space colonists who encountered hostile creatures while scavenging a derelict spaceship, and it follows the events between Alien and its sequel, Aliens. Let's begin this episode with spooky summaries and discover the plot details of the latest installment of the franchise, Alien Romulus. The story follows a group of young space colonists scavenging a derelict space station when they encounter terrifying xenomorphs. The film emphasized survival horror, bringing the franchise back to its root with intense encounters similar to the original Alien movies. The colonists are stalked by these life forms, leading to brutal and dangerous confrontation. The movie centers on two pairs of siblings and focuses on the terrifying battle for survival, including encounters with not only the classic xenomorph, but also a new mutated human xenomorph hybrid. The film explores themes of human experimentation as one of the characters injects themselves with a compound that leads to the birth of this hybrid, intensifying the terror. Let's get on to discrete directors and talk about the history of making the movie Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus was directed by Fede Álvarez and was written by Fede Álvarez and Rudo Senegus. Fede Álvarez brings a distinct style that merges the tension and claustrophobic of Ridley Scott's original Alien with the action-driven approach of James Cameron's Aliens. Álvarez is known for his ability to breathe new life into established franchises, as seen in his 2013 Evil Dead reboot. With Alien Romulus, he aimed to combine the slow burn horror and practical effects of earlier Alien films with modern filmmaking techniques. Álvarez implies creating a suspenseful atmosphere using practical effects and hands-on direction, a hallmark of both Scott and Cameron's approaches. He wants the audience to feel the terror in a more tactile way, akin to the original films, while introducing innovative elements that keep the movie fresh and engaging for both longtime fans and new viewers. His approach blends reverence for the franchise's legends with a willingness to push boundaries, ensuring the new installment feels both classic and contemporary. The actors and characters are Callie Spaney, plays Rain, an orphan minor who is central to the story's survival plot. Archie Renault portrays Tyler, Rain's ex-boyfriend and Kay's brother. He is part of the group facing the xenomorph threat. Isabella Merz plays Kay, Tyler's sister who is pregnant and becomes host to a xenomorph hybrid during the movie's cinematic moment. David Johnson plays Auntie, an android loyal to Rain, serving as her surrogate brother. Spike Fearn plays Bjorn, Tyler and Kay's cousin, who has strong anti-Semitic sentiments. And Alan Wu plays Navarro, a pilot and Bjorn's adopted sister. The actors in Alien Romulus bring fresh energy to the Alien franchise, with their performance tailored to bring classic horror elements with modern sensibilities. The movie features a younger cast than its predecessors, which emphasized the grittier survivalist tone while paying homage to earlier films in the series. Kelly Spenny plays Rain Carradine, embodying a final girl archetype maintenance of Ellen Ripley, but with a unique blend of vulnerability and strength, capturing the audience attention as she faces terrifying threats. Isabel Merz portrays Kay, who's pregnant, becomes central to the story's horror elements, especially when she becomes the host of a Xenomorph hybrid. Archie Renew plays Tyre, a rebellious leader whose motivation often clash with the greater good, adding complexity to his portrayal. And David Johnson plays Andy, an android character who adds tension with his loyalty to Weyland-Yutani's, invoking the franchise's classic themes of corporate betrayal. This younger cast skillfully channels fear, courage, and tension, enchanting the horror elements with more intimate character dynamics. Director Fede Álvarez approach further enchants these performances, with the actors playing off animatronic xenomorphs and facehuggers, adding a visceral realism to their roles. This mix of rising star and intense direction gives Alien Romulus a fresh yet familiar feel, appealing to fans of both classic horror and new generation sci-fi. Alien Romulus follows a familiar narrative structure from the Alien franchise, resembling a haunted house story in space. The film centers on a small group of space colonists who find themselves trapped on board a derelict space station split into two sections, Romulus and Remus. Their premier goal is to escape while dealing with a terrifying xenomorph lurking on board. The narrative keeps the plot straightforward. The group must fight for survival against the xenomorph, focusing on intense horror and claustrophobic tension. Much of the film takes place in confined, eerie settings that amplify the characters' isolation and desperation, reminiscent of the original Alien. The story's simplicity allows the film to concentrate on atmosphere, tension, and action-driven sequences, like battles with facehuggers and the climatic showdowns involving a new human xenomorph hybrid. The structure builds on the suspense, starting with exploration, escalating into chaos as the xenomorph threat grows, and culminating in a dramatic final escape, similar to the classic Alien formula. This direct narrative approach makes it a tightly focused survival horror, while also incorporating body horror elements in its final twist. Alien Romulus takes place around 2142, set roughly 20 years after the original Alien movie. It is centered around a group of young space colonists who stumble upon a seemingly abandoned space station called Renaissance. As they explore, they accidentally awaken a deadly xenomorph that pursues them relentlessly. The film captures a claustrophobic horror of its predecessors, as much of the action occurring within the space station, which is constructed with a mix of practical effects and minimal CGI to maintain a tactile, immersive environment. The director, Fede Álvarez, aimed to blend the atmosphere of both Alien and Aliens, while maintaining the visual style and thematic tension of earlier installments. The music and sound design of Alien Romulus is a blend of homage of the original Alien films and fresh modern elements. Composer Benjamin Wolfish craft the score, which combines eerie orchestral pieces with more experimental, distorted electronic sounds. His work includes nod to classic Alien themes by Jerry Goldman, James Horner, and even Harry Gregson Williams. The score is tense and unsettling, with high-pitched string, bass, and choral arrangement to invoke the horror of the Xenomorph, alongside more aggressive electronic distortion to heighten the intensity. On the sound design side, Fede Álvarez collaborated with sound expert to maintain continuity with Ridley Scott's original Alien films. They reuse iconic sound elements like space sounds, turbines, and doors from the 1979 film, which deepens the connection to the original while enchanting the claustrophobic and terrifying atmosphere. Alvarez's team also introduced disturbing new sonic elements, such as the visceral cracking of bones, which adds to the physical and psychological horror of the film. The soundscape in Alien Romulus is integral to building tension, utilizing surround sound technology to immerse viewers fully in terror-filled world of the Xenomorph. Alien Romulus is the latest entry in the iconic Alien franchise, which had been released in August 16, 2024. Directed by Fede Álvarez, known for Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. The film marks a return to the franchise's horror roots. The story takes place between the events of Alien 1979 and Aliens 1986, focusing on a group of young colossals who encounter the terrifying Xenomorph while scavenging a derelict space station. The film is not connected to the previous Ripley-centered films or the Prometheus storyline, but aims to fill gaps in the Alien timeline by exploring why Weyland-Yutani Corporation is so determined to capture Xenomorph specimen. The production was set in motion when Álvarez pitched the idea to Ridley Scott, who has long been a shepherd of the franchise. Scott eventually agreed, and 20th Century Studio decided to proceed with Álvarez's vision, which focused on new characters and the fresh cast of young Hollywood talent, including Cailee Spaeny and Isabel Merced. The film is expected to blend classic sci-fi horror elements with a strong emphasis on tension and survival, harkening back to the claustrophobic terror of the original films. The budget of the movie is $80 million, and the box office is $350.4 million. And about the ratings, it received an IMDb score of 7.3 out of 10 and a Rotten Tomato score of 80%. Alien Romulus received a nomination at the Astra Mid-Season Movie Awards for the most anticipated movie of the year. The film is a part of the Alien franchise, bridging the gap between Alien and Aliens. As of now, this is the only award nomination the film has received, but it could gain more recognition as the 2024 award season progresses. In Alien Romulus, the film makes significant use of practical effects, combining with CGI enchantment, striking a balance between realism and digital artistry. Director Fede Álvarez emphasized practical effects, notable with the iconic facehugger creatures, to preserve the tactile, creepy aesthetic of the original Alien films. However, CGI was employed to enchant key scenes, including moments like the acid burn on a character's flesh or a creature emerging from a cocoon. These effects were crafted by Image Engine, which blends practical reference with digital elements to increase realism, especially in complex shots. The proto-pulse rifle, a precursor of the M41A used in Aliens, is a key weapon featured in Romulus. It has a sleek design with a distinct grey color and a red lead ammo counter, signaling its early development stage in the timeline of the Alien universe. This approach of using a mix of practical props and CGI makes Alien Romulus feel closely connected to the atmosphere of the original film, while still utilizing modern visual effects technology to bring new terrors to life. In Alien Romulus, foreshadowing plays a crucial role in setting up the tension and tying the film to previous entries of the Alien franchise. One major element of foreshadowing is the reappearance of the big chap Xenomorph from the original 1979 Alien movie. Early in Romulus, the team aboard the ship Renaissance retrieves the Xenomorph, unaware it is still alive. This callback to the original film signals the continuing danger of the xenomorph species and hints at the inevitable horror that unfolds later. Additionally, Alien Romulus explores the black goo from Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which is revealed to be part of the new experiment designed to upgrade humanity. This plotline foreshadows the transformation that occurs towards the film's end, where a hyperhuman xenomorph creature is born. The introduction of this substance earlier in the film prepares the audience for the shocking birth of this creature, blending body horror with cosmic danger. These moments build suspense by nodding to previous films while introducing new threats, making the ending feel both inevitable and surprising. Now that Discreet Directors is done, let's head on to Insane Insiders, the last segment of Horror Talks with Tate, and discover the Easter eggs, fun facts, and the audience reviews of Alien Romulus. In Alien Romulus, several Easter egg reference key moments and detail from the wider Alien franchise. Number 1. Weyland-Yutani's Aspen's beer. This fictional brand first appearance in the original Alien film in 1979 and is seen again in Romulus on a table during a hasting. Number 2. Reebok shoes. Rain Crenadin, one of the main characters, wears a new design of Reebok Stompers, a nod to the iconic footwear worn by Ellen Ripley in Aliens. Number 3. Haley's Hope Bar. The neon sign for Haley's Hope Bar and Grill appears referencing the LV-426 colony from Aliens. Number 4. The Narcissus Shuttle. Sharp-eyed fans may spot Ripley's escape pod, the Narcissus, dock in the background of one scene, hinting at a connection to Sigourney Weaver's character. And number 5. Black Goo from Prometheus. The black goo from Prometheus makes a return, tying into previous franchise lore. These Easter eggs build upon the rich lore of the Alien universe while giving fans familiar moments to catch during the film. Here are some interesting fun facts about Alien Romulus. Number 1. Standalone interquel. The film is set between Alien 1979 and Aliens 1986, making it a standalone interquel that ties into the Bonder Alien timeline, but doesn't directly connect to the previous films. Number 2. Directed by Fede Álvarez. Known for his works on Evil Dead 2013 and Don't Breathe, Álvarez was given a significant amount of creative freedom in making the film, which allowed him to infuse his own dark style into the Alien universe. Number 3. Kelly Spenny cast as lead. The character Rain Carradine, played by Kaylee Spenny, was specifically written with her in mind, according to Álvarez. Spenny has impressed audience in previous films like Priscilla and Mayor of Easttown. Number 4. Practical effects and Xenomorphs. While CGI is used in modern films, Alien Romulus leans heavily on practical effects, including a mix of robotic and actors in costumes to bring the terrifying Xenomorphs to life, which left a strong impression on the cast. And number 5, gruesome scenes. The film features some extremely graphic scenes, including one so intense that even the crew had to look away during playback due to its gory nature. These fun facts show how the film respects the franchise's roots while adding Álvarez's signature style, bringing the new excitement to Alien fans. Audience reviews for Alien Romulus has been largely positive, with many praising it as a return to form for the Alien franchise. Viewers appreciate its focus on horror and tension, with jump scares and unsettling visuals. The film's direction by Fede Álvarez is seen as a strong point, blending atmosphere and scares reminiscent of the original Alien films. It also has strong performance, especially from Kelly Spenny and David Johnson. Fans have noted the film's nostalgic appeal, with some even calling it the best since Aliens. Before we wrap up today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about my thoughts and reviews for Alien Romulus. I absolutely love this movie just as much as the other installments of the franchise. It's incredibly exciting to see the return of the iconic Xenomorph, and let me tell you, they were even more terrifying this time around. The story is grippy, full of unexpected twists and intense moments that kept me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. The music and sound effects were masterfully done, really heightening the suspense and tension throughout. And as for the creature design, they're so realistic and chilly, it's like they stepped right out of your worst nightmare. I have no doubt you guys are going to love this movie as much as I did, so make sure to go check it out. I'm confident you'll have an unforgettable experience. Well, everyone, this concludes today's episode of Horror Talks with Tate. Thank you so much for listening, and I will be back on Halloween for my first ever horror story of Horror Talks with Tate, The Last Call, Slenderman's Whisper. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to it. It's going to be terrifying, and I hope you enjoy it when it comes out. Make sure to follow, rate, and review this podcast to grow more horror fans like yourself. If you want to stay tuned for more upcoming episodes and exciting news, go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to keep your eyes on them. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the episodes, which I will be working on very soon, like I said, and follow me on TikTok for spooky and funny horror videos. Don't forget to check this movie if you haven't seen it yet, and find out the events between Alien and Aliens. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, stay spooky or I'll be in your head, and I'll see you at Halloween.